Well, hello out there in random land. It is I, Neon Tiger, and welcome back to another A Link to the Past randomizer tournament brackets match here with Malmo. How you doing, Malmo?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing great. We have drawn, I believe, another McBoss seed here in this Game 1 matchup between Spleebie and Jet, two runners that, if you've been hanging around the tournament scene for a while or just the rando scene in general with Link to the Past, I probably know these two. They've been quite regular and quite well scouted and experienced runners. So this should be a very good match between these two.
Yeah, this is their first race of the series. The winner of this match plays the winner of Hitman versus Lin Lin Lin. And they have rolled MC Boss today. That's Map Compass Shuffle and Boss Shuffle, but no Enemizer.
Yes. So the one thing to keep in mind, of course, with the other match, the other half of the bracket is Lin is up 1-0 over Hitman. So it's going to be best of 3. So first to 2 pretty much wins. And going to be one for both these runners. I think they're looking to start off on the right foot. So it's a lot easier to get that second one when you've got one in your back pocket. And away we go. Looks like split start here. Spleebie going house start, and Jet's going to start to sink.
Spleebie going for the Uncle opener. And finds some money while Jet finds the bow in Sanctuary.
We get a tree pull. We get a prize pull here from both runners.
Ooh. Red rupees.
Yep.
So really no shortage of money as long as you can patiently farm. More likely just find what you need. And even that 5 arrows that Jet found is good find, just because that bow is his only weapon.
Yeah. Got ourselves a Moon Pearl. That's a nice find for Spleebie.
Moon Pearl and bombs, that's pretty much what you want to see. You want to see something that's required, and you want to see bombs on the Uncle.
Just a big 50 there on the Aga ledge, so nothing of value.
Yeah, the fact that the Moon Pearl is there specifically means that Jet will have to go to the Uncle at some point. But we'll at least have a weapon to deal with the escape as well.
And just a piece of heart in a mushroom spot.
One thing that's nice about the bow is, because it's boss shuffle, you can run into an Armos anywhere. And having a bow is really good for Armos. Not that it's hard, necessarily, but it is a very slow fight with almost any other weapon.
Yep, and Jet picking up the big 300 that's in the Thieves' Hideout. Probably not a bad idea. I'll give him some extra money to, if needed, to go through Thieves' Town. Looks like regular 5 rupee pool is also in the prize pool. So very money heavy seed here.
Yeah, good kind of seed to be money heavy, because this is one of the modes where you actually want to be able to buy potions in the late game. In case you run into something like an Ice Trinex or a very low percent Cold Stare. I was surprised to see Spleebie walk away from 5 arrows, but it might just be that he wasn't thinking very much about what the enemy actually dropped.
Hammer showing up there on in the back of the bar, so that's a nice find. One step closer to Dark World access already.
Yeah, this is looking like not an Aga seed, that it's, not too late for the gloves to be in the Dark World.
That's entirely possible.
It's much more likely that a glove just shows up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've said that, and now the gloves are just gonna be in the chicken coop and be like, oh well, that's that.
The Spleebie dropped a bomb by accident during the tree pull, and now he only has one. I expect to see him go to Cackwell, and with that one bomb, and then have to buy another one. Because I don't think Jet has picked up any bombs outside of the shop.
No, we haven't seen that yet, so...
And just as we said it, the glove shows up in Kakariko Village. This is just going to be straight Dark World access for Spleebie.
Mm-hmm.
Jet still needs that Moon Pearl and Uncle.
I also got the Meyer compass there. Nothing really in Blind's Hut. But, yeah, some solid early game hints that you might need to go to Dark World pretty quick here.
It's worth noting that the compasses actually do something now. Sometime in the last year, an update was made that made the compass spoiled what boss is in the dungeon if you press X in the dungeon. With an adorable tiny image of the boss. It's amazing.
Jet's actually going to go do the backup escape here.
Now, I have a rule that if I have a glove, my next save and quit is always the backup escape. Because there's really no reason to put it off.
That's a good point. And then, yeah, you just save and quit out of there. Only really finding the compass for Skull Woods, so... Not high value yet, but...
I think that's one of the best compasses. You really don't want to drop into that hole, go all the way through the back, only to find yourself get destroyed by an Argus.
Or by something that you can't beat, yeah.
I think even if you fall on the wrong side of the hole, Argus will hit you. Because you'll land on top of Argus instead of under it or above it.
Hey, there's some bombs. Just have to do the maze race.
Yeah, you gotta use bombs to get there.
1 bomb for 3 bombs. Green Pendant, Ice Palace. Ooh, okay.
Right. So with Map Shuffle, we don't get the pendant compass info just from checking the map. We actually have to collect the maps. But so Hosrilla does spoil that one.
This is looking like, for Jet, this is looking like an Eastern dip. It's definitely... maybe... It's going up, yeah.
Eastern. Yeah, this is...
I was like, is he just taking the long way to go down to Lake Hylia or something? I'm like, nope. Okay, no.
That does have the bow and a lot of gumption to be going in here on 2 hearts, and, you know, we don't know what boss is here. Does he have the compass?
No. That one I know we haven't seen, so... There's a map to Hera. Yeah, the red meringue is what was under the water.
Yeah, 1 boomerang is worth it. I think 2 boomerangs. You don't need a second one unless you're playing no logic.
Just some bombs in that second chest. So far, Eastern not really turning out to have the value. We still got some chests to go, though. Spleebie's going to have to take care of the mini mold worms the hard way.
I think this is actually, like, easier than most methods. Except when that happens.
Yeah.
But if you ever think, like, oh, I have the hook shot, I'm just going to use that instead, it's a trap. The hook shot is fake and wrong. But apparently bombs are also fake and wrong, because Spleebie just threw both of them and got, I think, spooky action out of a kill on both sides. Alright, It only took him 8 minutes to miss a chest turn. Very good.
I believe we do have Ice Rod now as well. So Jet finding the value.
Yeah, Ice Rod it's in Trinex Insurance. It doesn't have any value outside of a mediocre weapon until you find the Fire Rod as well. But it is good because Spleebie could find a Trinex much later and not have gone in here.
And yep, there is good darkroom management here for Jet. These are some of the first darkrooms you learn in the game are to do those eastern ones. Those and I think the Death Mountain Cave are kind of the ones that you learn when you start kind of running this a little more seriously and not being just a situation where you're trying to figure out logic.
But now the interesting part for Jet is the back of Eastern. Because we don't know if he can actually defeat this boss. But he does get a 4th heart, which is really good safety against the Dark Room. Spleebie, meanwhile, is just going straight to Hype Cave. Probably going to check that double crystal at the bomb shop, see what he's dealing with in the Dark World.
Yeah, still don't have the map check. But I'm getting, we don't really have a whole lot of maps to probably necessitate that right away.
So, funny thing about the bomb shop, it has 2 purposes. One of them is the Pyramid Fairy check. The other one is it sells bombs, and Spleebie's out of bombs.
TR and Hera. So it is a Red Crystal Death Mountain experience this time around. Yeah, Jet's going for it.
You wouldn't go all the way through here, find only the Ice Rod, and not at least check the boss. Even if you can't kill it, it's still information that your opponent doesn't have.
Ooh, flute.
Flute.
More bombs.
And the map of Desert. And another
Silvers.
Bomb. Oh, goodness. Jet scared me for a second there. Got a little bit close for comfort to that Igor, which would have one-shot him on 1 heart. Preemptively grabbing arrows for whatever is here. I can't imagine anything but Lamlo or Armos being defeatable with arrows. Yeah, that's
Cold Stare's not gonna.
Stare.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Nah. There's 2 weapons that you can get for Cold Stare. So 2 chances for Spleebie to have the ability to kill Cold Stare when he gets there. He does need a sword to cast Bombos if that's the one he finds.
Yeah, otherwise Fire Rod will be the answer. Ooh.
But also, even if Jet did have Fire Rod, it would not have been an easy fight.
We have a Red Pendant Skull Woods on that map check from Spleebie.
The Jet's still searching for Moon Pearls, searching South Shore, which I don't think was very exciting. Spleebie was there. He found 1 heart at some point, but that was it.
Yeah, there wasn't anything Light World wise. The good stuff's in Hype Cave and the Dark World, so Jet will have to go through the portal to find the good stuff. But not having Moon Pearl yet is not going to make that play.
What do you think Spleebie will do after activating Flute?
Fantastic question. I don't really know. I think maybe go to the mountain.
I think it's just generally good to have the old man save and quit available when
Yeah.
you have an active Flute. So that's not a bad thing to do. Just the old man. I don't know if I would climb just
No.
yet. Not without the mirror or the hook shot. Or
You
at
could
least the boots, you know.
Yeah,
Make
you
it
can
fast.
you could maybe climb and just go check like Spectacle Rock real quick, and then that's about it.
You have a funny definition of real quick.
I know.
That is a slog without boots.
It is.
Even with boots, I would want spin speed, not just dashing.
So actually, the answer is Spleebie looks like he's going to Village of Outcasts. Gonna go to Dark World.
Spleebie also has the Compass of Skull, right? One of them has it.
Yep.
So he can check that boss while he's here, which I imagine he'll take a dip in. It's a few more items when you got Map Compass Shuffle. It's now a 4-item dungeon, making it even more overworld than it already was.
Right, and of course we found both of those items outside of Skullwood, so we know that there are extra items in there, possibly. Who knows? Maybe it's other compasses. Maybe it's nothing but compasses.
Spleebie's making good use of iframes. When he falls in that pit, he gets iframes and can walk through the bari. I know it's such a small thing, but it saves a little bit of time over just walking back and having to dodge stuff. And he probably will death warp out of this room instead of taking the Wallmaster.
It's a little quicker.
As long as he doesn't bop a mummy on the way.
Yeah.
He has a boomerang. He can defend himself. Oh, he does get healed though, that's true. Still faster. Apparently faster to just walk at this point.
Just completely defying commentators' expectations.
Yeah, I should have learned not to predict what runners are going to do, because every time I do, they go somewhere else. Because it turns out I don't actually know how to route any no glitches mode. Ooh. That was rough.
Yeah,
you usually have a sword for that, but yeah, the boomerang's really good. The silver arrows also kill Gibdos.
Right. Gotta do it the old-fashioned way.
Surprised to see fake flipper checks for Jet. He couldn't have checked the waterfall because he doesn't have Moon Pearl, but he did check the hobo.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's checking Zora, which is not something Spleebie has done.
Yeah, and there's our death warp from Spleebes as well. I just called him Spleebes. It's like he already has a really short nickname, and I'm just making it shorter.
Yeah.
It feels unnecessary, but Spleebie. Oh, I thought maybe
his file name is usually like SBLB or something, so it's like Spleeb. Yeah, nothing for Jet on the water route, and 2 orphan checks as well. But he will be getting his Moon Pearl shortly. See if he also does the rest of the escape, which is usually what you do when you've put it off for this long.
I would guess so. But Spleebie is checking. There's just the map there on the ledge, so probably we'll skip that.
When Spleebie went back in, did he check his map?
He did. It was a very quick check, and even with like having the restream open and being able to pause it, I couldn't catch it. So
Ooh, it'll be a mystery forever until they drop it.
I know.
Or until Jet checks it. It gives us a little bit more time.
Yeah, it was like 3 frames. It felt like, and I was like, okay, I got it.
Jet is bailing after finding Moon Pearl, so no escape for him either. He must have found enough items in the back that the front is probably just a key in the map. Oh, there's no map though. It's just a key. I think he just thinks Dark World.
Ooh, okay, book.
Book is maybe fine for desert later, but we can't do all of desert yet.
No,
fire.
We need fire source, and we may need boots if it's boots locked. That's a possibility.
And then there's always that big, of course, the big question mark at the end of the dungeon.
Right.
You might need any number of things to kill the boss.
That's this boss shuffle modes. That's another wrench that that really gets thrown into the mix here. And it can be kind of a lot to deal with. Now, obviously, Spleebie and Jet, they're going to be more than ready to deal with it. But when you're starting out and you like do your first like boss shuffle, it can be quite a bit.
Maybe he took an unintentional death and thieves, but it wasn't the worst because he got the second chest first.
Yeah, so this will be a shorter kind of bounce over here. Gets to skip this little section.
And most people will at least peek the boss when they're here. Usually they'll do that before they fight, right? Or before they go to the back.
Yeah, usually.
But in this case, Spleebie does have the bow, or the hammer, and the single and the key. So
there's Quake.
Might not be a bad idea to just do all of it. It's like more likely to find something in the back than to actually be able to kill this boss. Ooh. Oh no! The time he spent quick swapping to the boomerang caused the Zazax to move in just the wrong way to hit him on the way up. We'll keep going though.
Yeah, he's still gonna go to the back.
Where is Jet going? It's just here to activate Flute. Is this the fastest way to get to Flute?
Fantastic question. I feel like there's more screen transitions when you do it this way.
Yeah, it doesn't feel faster, but I think maybe he didn't check the maze race.
Yeah, he must not have checked it.
That's interesting. He didn't do any of the bottom of CAC. That's wild. So Spleebie is doing the back first, which I like. I think when you have 4 hearts and can't kill most bosses, but you have the hammer, doing this first is really not a bad idea.
No, it's never really a bad idea. It's a good way to go handle this.
Spleebie was having a standoff with that cricket, not realizing the cricket was just stunned from when he was in that room before. That's pretty funny. He just thought the cricket was spawn camping. So Jet following Spleebie into the Dark World. We'll see. I expect to see him in Skull as well, so let's all together pay attention to that map check and hope that he lingers on it for more than 3 frames. If not, I could probably find it on Spleebie's stream tracker. Pain of Burna, not a bad find in boss shuffle. It's very, very, very good safety for, specifically for blind, but for some other things as well. It can get you out of a pinch in a lot of cases. Okay, Jet checks the map and it's Mothula. The easiest boss to find at Mothula, and Spleebie finds an impossible boss called Argus at Thieves Town, so that will be a later check. And Spleebie returning to the escape to take care of some unfinished business, because he doesn't have that much left that he can do. He could check the pyramid, he could go into pod. The pod without fire right now is not worth it. Unless it has the fire. So a confirmed item in Dark Cross as well. Spleebie finds the key, which is the only dungeon item in this mode, in the escape. That peeking the bumper ledge, which when we saw on Spleebie's end was a heart piece. Sorry, it was a map. I lied. So that's a little bit of information we won't be getting. Nobody's coming back for a map, even if they have. Even if you have the map, the cape right now, you're not getting that. It's also already 2 known pendants, so the map is not as valuable as it might have been otherwise. Nothing but the 5th heart for Spleebie, but he still has Dark Cross to do. It would not surprise me to see Spleebie also dive Eastern after all of this. It's one of the few dungeons he at least can reach the boss of, even if he can't necessarily kill the boss. And that's it for Spleebie, just 10 arrows in Dark Cross. Where does he go next? Jet, meanwhile, making his way through Thieves Town. Going to be faced with a similar decision and also taking some similar deaths that Spleebie took. Those Zazaks really like to lurk in the corners where you can't see them. There's not a whole lot you can do about it when you don't have a sword.
Yeah, we're still swordless, which is kind of a pain in the butt for both of our runners.
For sure. And it does look like Spleebie might be thinking about Eastern. He's not doing it first. He's doing Sahasrarla's Closet first. Keep an eye out for those chest turns he really likes to do. Oh, this is his first time seeing the green pendant as well. Ah, no chest turn. Takes the blue out. Does that mean he's not going to Eastern? No, he is. Okay. So all that time that Jet lost in Eastern, getting it back by going in himself. But can't blame him. This is probably what I would do in his situation.
Yeah, you kind of just have to go where the seed lets you go. You can't like force things too much.
Yeah, you can't assume the seed's just going to give you a nice red carpet to follow.
Right.
Sometimes it's a lot of twists and turns. The reality is probably that you have to go into desert or pod, which is just as bad, not worse.
Yeah, there might not even be a single dip pod or desert. It may be like a double dip situation, and that's just like, that's annoying at that point. You don't want to have to double dip anything if you don't have to. Pod is like not necessarily, I think probably the least aggravating. The most aggravating, I think, double dip is Turtle Rock, because traditionally is one of the last ones you go to, and you really just don't want to have to go in there twice. It's such a long dungeon.
Turtle Rock has a unique property in specifically Boss Shuffle that you can actually do the entire thing without Fire Rod if the stars align. Because if you can get to Laser Bridge without Fire Rod, it's because there are no keys in the Fire Lock side. And the only other thing you need Fire Rod for is Trinex. So I saw Jet do Thieves Town in the opposite order that Spleebie did. I think we saw him do that Argus Peak first. He loses a little bit of time going back in afterward, but I think it's about the same as Spleebie dying twice. Jet looked like he's setting up a death warp there. That would be because he's already looked at the boss, so there's nothing for him to do outside of this room.
Yeah.
He'll use the pit to take his final hit. And lucky that that heart piece didn't refill him.
That would have been a pain in the butt.
It's not the worst place to take fall deaths because at least it's near the door, so you don't have to spend so long scrolling the screen. Oh, Spleebie gets a timely heal, giving him a chance to waste time in the back.
That's unfortunate too, because we know like he's gonna get there to the back, and it's gonna be like, oh, okay. Well, I can't do anything with this yet.
I think if I know you're not psychic, you can never predict what your opponent is doing, but I think you assume your opponent did this too, right? Like,
right.
It's Eastern, you have the bow, it's in logic, except for the very back, the fire stuff.
There's always, I think, as a runner, there's always a bit of we've talked about this a little bit before in like past interviews and past races. There's always a bit of a gut check that comes into play here. I think Jet's also trying to set up current jump here to get over to the other side of the river here.
Yeah, take second try. I'm guessing he's more comfortable with this than with the fake flipper using Ancilla. Because I think he does have a good index for splash deletion. Spleebie getting the bad news. Cold stare at Eastern. Jet making his way to Catfish, which is our first time seeing Catfish. I'll probably double back and do Pyramid into Pod. But I'm also probably wrong because every time I say what the runners will do, they do something else.
I was going to say we don't have Mirror, so he's not going to do all these checks in this corner.
He's already done them, actually.
Right.
Yeah, he would have to splash delete into Waterfall Fairy. It's the only thing he hasn't done yet. He can't do without the mirror.
So we'll see if we get a save and quit here, maybe, from Jet. I don't know. Nope, just going to walk away and continue on.
I'm assuming it's faster to walk back to take the pyramid than to start again at the Hype Cave portal. This feels faster, but it's not faster if you die. This is getting kind of treacherous for Jet. Meanwhile, Spleebie just going straight into Pod using the flute. Skipping both of these overworld checks that Jet is going to do on the way. Can't even buy a red potion in here because no bottles. Oh, what a rough sea to not have bottles in.
Yes, there's some things about the sea that are kind of not fun. The lack of bottles. We're still looking at green mail in low health going into Dark World, which does not adjust because you have early Dark World. So Spleebie's getting an extra heart there. But still, it's one of those situations where it's not ideal.
Oh, and there's a sword on the pyramid for Jet.
Nice. That will be very helpful.
The Spleebie probably won't get that until he decides to do a dedicated catfish play from a save and quit. Unless he walks out of pod. If he finds nothing here, he might walk out of pod. But now they're going to converge with Jet having the sword advantage. The Spleebie being a little bit sooner to the item. Jet also needs to survive this trip. This is not guaranteed. At least he has a sword to defend himself, but everything here takes more than one hit with the sword. So the boomerang is still a better option. Nothing interesting yet in front of pod, just a bunch of keys. It's all about getting everything in the front of pod just so you can get the real goodies in the back. But I was wondering, when we got that early bow, if pod would be the play.
Yeah, sometimes it can be really hard to read these seeds depending on what you get, because you get one item like a bow, and it's just going to open up a bunch of different things. And you have to kind of think, okay, logically, what's best for getting the most checks and possibly getting the most items. As Spleebie gets the magic powder.
Yeah, it makes you ask, like, how important is this powder? Like, how much value do I assign the fetch quests I find in here? You can get it pretty quickly with the flute to 3. But you'd probably want to find a bottle first so you can at least get 2 fetch quests out of the way.
Yeah, the more of those you can kind of get done at the same time, because a lot of them are pretty close together, the better it's going to be. More efficient you're going to have, and the less time you're going to spend going back and forth between screen transitions and whatnot. Jet looks like doing a death warp back to the start of the dungeon here, and we'll now go to the back.
And Spleebie navigating the dark rooms without a sword. Jet will have a sword for this.
Yeah, U-shaped one is they're both a little easy once you know how to do them. Hey, blue mail, that's helpful.
Yeah, you still take 1 heart from the Kadongos on any mail. So even if you know what you're doing, you can still get just pummeled by things.
Yeah, we are going to get a hammer jump here, looks like, from Spleebie.
So I think the best thing for Spleebie to find here is nothing. Because it gets him out of pod and into pyramid to get his sword. Because if he finds something good here, he'll just leave. But
right.
If he finds nothing here, he might walk out and do pyramid and catfish. Because his remaining options aren't very good. Is he still trying to death warp?
He might be.
Or is he trying to find the item? I think he's trying to find the item.
Oh no. Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
There we go. Because if he wanted to death warp, he would just use a bomb.
Yeah.
He's on half a heart.
I was like thinking, like, he's on half a heart. He's trying to death warp. Why isn't he just bombing himself? And then the answer is like, oh, he just got kind of mixed up there.
So he does find nothing in pod except for powder, which I'm sure he will be checking immediately.
Yeah.
Or lingering on the map, deciding what to do. Checking the old man cave, maybe? I would want to check the powder. You took a dive into pod and that's all you found. And that part was in logic.
That seems like that's a smart call. Yeah, this is all going to be out of logic because technically we're supposed to have the lamp to be able to do all this stuff. But you know, when you're a runner who's gotten this far in brackets, gotten into the bracket stage, and you have the experience that these two runners do have, like a lot of these dark rooms are going to be pretty much trivial for them. It's a lot of muscle memory. Compass of Eastern.
Oh no, we could have had that. Imagine saving the old man early and then doing a quick map check in Eastern and not having to do all of that backside.
We would have saved a little bit of aggravation, I think, maybe from both runners, but.
And you know, nobody plays perfectly except your opponent, so you know your opponent did that, right? Everyone does that.
Right. I have a feeling that lamp is maybe inside Spec Rock here. No, a mirror.
The mirror. Yeah, I would have said lamp, but we didn't find anything behind the lamp. I think where the lamp just doesn't matter in this seed. I think it's somewhere stupid, like Turtle Rock.
Yeah. The only reason I said lamp was I was trying to think there's something in logic that's here, because this was like, we talked about it earlier. This was a check that was open as soon as you got the flute, and that was in logic. So just to me, that seemed like that when they would come up here and we haven't found anything else yet. It feels like, okay, there's got to be something on top of or inside of Spectacle Rock. Mirror makes sense logically, I guess, because that lets you go into Hera, which is probably where there'll be another item.
All there is left is with desert, incompletable desert, and the powder check. I think that's all we have in logic. So that mirror was very likely to be there.
Mm-hmm.
This opens up all of the mountain except for the dark mountain. You should probably just find it's up here. Spleebie will have a quicker tablet check. Better copy of your score. Jet's actually, Jet's not going to get that either because you need 2 swords to get that sword. So that's a tempered sword or higher. That's really interesting because that means that Spleebie needs to find 2 swords. Jet needs to find 1 sword. And now there is a whole sword that Spleebie can't find as his master sword. Jet didn't make the bomb jump.
No, he didn't.
Unfortunate. It looks good.
Yeah, to pick up a fairy though. Normally we don't get to see them go up the tower the normal way. Usually it's a pot clip to get up here nowadays. That's kind of
hook shot is not guaranteed. Yeah. It's sometimes the hook shot is just here on top of hair and you just have to accept it. Yep. It's the old cane and ice situation.
Yeah, we did run up into one of those situations. In fact, in group stage, there was a seed. Kane was in the it was in Ice Palace. I think it was an Ice Tea room, so it was pretty deep in there. Oh.
So Jet just gave us 2 crystals, Desert Crystal and Swamp Crystal.
Yep. Thanks, Jet. And of course, the other info we already had about Skullwoods and Ice Palace both being pendants.
Very few bosses that can actually be in Tower of Hera because of the way the arena is built. Helmasaur is one of them. A little bit obnoxious because the pit can cancel the damage that you deal to Helmasaur. Spleebie can back it up with the hammer if he needs to, but it's not, because you can see it's not like you can just walk up to him and he's right over that pit.
No, he's got the, he's just kind of hanging out over the old penalty box there. It's just really annoying. But this should be easy.
Yeah.
Just one arrow will do a trick.
Nice fight. I think there were definitely some hits that didn't count. He threw more than 5 bombs, but
yeah,
he didn't run out of bombs, and he got his first bottle with the bee in it.
Hey!
So now you can check powder and sick kit at the same time.
Absolutely, get a 2-for-1 deal going on there.
If you really wanted to be thorough about it, you could. I would say Spleebie is more likely to do this. Also, do the North route where you do Graveyard Legend to Catfish into Pyramid. Jet's already done Catfish, so he probably won't do that.
No, looks like first we're gonna get a check Spiral Cave.
Yeah, I expect to see the whole mountain cleared, the whole light mountain cleared for
Yeah.
both. There's no reason not to do that now.
Spiral on the Paradox, yeah. And check a floating island, which is Compass.
Did we see if Helmasaur dropped a key?
I did not.
Because that would be really
I
awkward.
don't think so. No, Helmasaur dropped the bottle. So
Okay, that's right. The B.
yeah. So the
Not
key,
a key.
the key is locked inside the chest.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing like not having fire for the hair basement and having to like never come back to it.
Right. You have it be
It'll-
like your go mode item is hiding down there. you had a fire thing.
It's the
It could've-
mitts, and
yeah.
you don't go back to the mountain until you have mitts, so you just never get it.
It's like fire rod is locked inside the fire behind the fire thing. And you have to go get like lamp.
Jet opting for hammer strats. I love seeing the hit get teleported to the other quadrant. It's pretty janky. If you actually had Jet's audio, you would hear the difference between the hits that count and the hits that don't. Helmasaur makes a little oomph sound when he gets hit. And I think that sound doesn't play when he's canceling the damage at the pit.
Yeah, red mail. Mushroom.
Oh, we get triple fetch to turn in after this.
Map for Meyer.
The mirror
Flip.
now opens up a hookless swamp. It's everyone's favorite. Yeah, Jet should have powder that was in pod. But the only item discrepancy between them after Jet finishes the mountain will be the sword that was on Pyramid.
And a quick screen transition. And we'll come back and check what our item is. Get some potions. Or potion. It's just bombs. But I think Spleebie will take those.
He had one. I think that's actually a really good time to find bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how the sword hasn't really done anything progression-wise yet. We don't have access to any of the medallion dungeons.
It's kind of weird. Like that we haven't gotten that extra, oomph to push us somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's the mitts are the big... It's the big absence we're feeling right now is the mitts, but I think they really want to see the hook shot show up because they're worried about swamp. Because that is now one of the denser locations available to them. Yeah, and the hookshot also opens up the boss of Thieves Town.
Yeah, so we're still short a fire source as well, which is really curious.
Now here's Spleebie taking his flippers to the flipper checks. The Jet already did, but didn't do the waterfall fairy because he wasn't able to. He couldn't get a water walk inside there without the moon pearls, so he had to walk past it. Spleebie doing hobo first and then swim back down to do the rest. Jet will just go straight to waterfall if that's what he decides to do, but he's got some fetch to turn in as well.
And really a situation where we're still short enough items you can't take anything for granted and let it be skippable at this point.
Spleebie realizing the flute is probably faster than swimming. Probably correct, even with the screen transition that you had to do. So, waterfall, 2 items that we haven't seen yet. Everything that we haven't seen yet is suddenly very exciting. King of Samaria, that's funny because that doesn't do anything. King of Samaria doesn't do anything until you have the mitts. So, it's not the progression that Spleebie needs. Hopefully for Jet, he actually does return to this, because if he finds the mitts somewhere else and doesn't need to think about these little like orphan checks, he might miss out on that for a while. But it also wouldn't surprise me for him to just very quickly flute over and check that, because it is pretty close to flute 8. But that is not flute 8, that is Desert Palace, and the mitts are there. So now the big question mark is, when does Jet get the King of Samaria?
I don't know.
Yeah, the mitts being there does mean that the book was hard acquired. Book being in... was that in Pod? No.
Book was in Dark World, the brewery.
Brewery, so it was early.
Yeah, it was early enough.
Spleebie doesn't need the sword until Ganon. Well, he might need one to open some medallion dungeons, but in theory he could pick that up right before Ganon if he finds something else.
Yeah, I mean, he'll need one to get in the Turtle Rock, so maybe Meyer as well.
Spleebie checking Agina first, because he doesn't know that he's going to have the mirror and the mitts together, because he doesn't have the mitts yet. Jet stealing the key. Have we seen yet if its boots locked?
Well, it seems like he stole the key, but
He's going back to 6 so he can set a mirror portal down.
oh.
Yeah, I guess that means he wants to do some other things, like check the Meyer medallion, check the Meyer shed, bumper, or what's the one called? Checkerboard.
Checkerboard.
Cave.
Yep.
Now Meyer is Bombos, so it's doubly locked out, which means for Spleebie he has 3 reasons he can't do Meyer. He doesn't have a medallion, he doesn't have a sword, and he can't even get past the first room because he doesn't have hookshot or boots. Fire Rod, Meyer shed. There's our progression. The Fire Rod gives access to the back of Skull. It's our first fire source of the entire seed.
And I think we are boots locked. I think I want to say I just saw Big Key sitting on the torch.
So this is Jet going into Desert to cash in on that stolen key. Spleebie's doing the same thing. Is this the meta? Is this what people do?
Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
I guess if you know that you need to get the boots eventually, you might as well get the item first, because it might be a sword, it might be a hook shot, maybe your boots are sitting in swamp. So that was must have been a small key, big key here.
I said big key, didn't I? I meant to say small key.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, Bombos.
It is the Meyer medallion, but Jet still can't go in because he doesn't have hookshot or boots. So that is, again, like in some ways, doubly boots locked Meyer. Unless hookshot shows up, then it's only singly boots locked.
Just mean. That's just mean.
I suppose the key steal play is a little more valuable in map compass shuffle, because there are more items in the dungeon. You wouldn't want to do this only to find out it's map and compass.
Yeah.
Spleebie will be getting that Bombos as well. I'm a little surprised that Jet doesn't open Mire just to deplete his magic now so that he has full magic going into Mire later on. But that's such a small thing. May not even be an optimization.
What if the boots are in here?
Yeah, that would have been pretty funny. That's actually why I thought he was going into the Dark World, because I thought he was going to do these first in case the boots were just sitting there.
Right. I thought that would have been funny if they do all this hard work. They go steal the key. They go to the right side. They go back to the left side. And then they finally go check Checkerboard Cave, and there's the boots.
Yeah, not only could you have skipped all that, but you could have done it faster. And now Spleebie will be getting his fire rod as Jet finishes out the desert checks. The Jet caught up a little bit in check parity. Spleebie has the escape done that Jet doesn't have, so it's a little bit of what do you call, like, disparity.
Yeah. Yeah, just that little bit of disparity. Big difference right now is that check at Waterfall that we know Spleebie has checked that, but Jet did not.
Yeah,
and
it was
we
the
know
cane.
that, yeah, it's half magic Samaria is what's there.
But Jet is going to Skull Woods, and Spleebie cannot get all the way to the back of Skull without a sword. Jet can. So Jet has access to an entire boss, but it is a pendant dungeon, so unless there's something there, it might not be an advantage. It might actually be a waste of time.
Jet's actually going to go Hammer Pegs now.
Yeah, I think this is the entire Smith chain for Jet.
Yep. This is pretty solid decision making here from Jet. Spleebie going to...
This might be his pyramid catfish play.
Maybe.
That would at least put him in a better position to do the things that Jet can do.
Yeah. A little more item parity as far as what they have, and a little more parity and checkability as well. What do we got? It's a big 20.
There's that sword for Spleebie, just a heart piece for Jet on the Smith chain. Spleebie will probably do this too. It's kind of close to Skull Woods. I suppose that you could check Ped while you're there as well. You could do that even if you don't want to commit to the boss. You could do that first and see if it's even worth getting the pendant. Mm-hmm. But given what the pendants are, like Ice Palace is also available, and maybe in Logic, like that's it, I wouldn't put it past the Seed to put something there. Oh, and there's the boots.
Ooh.
So they're mirror locked Checkerboard Cave. You could not climb the mountain without the mirror, or without the boots. With the boots. Had to schlep your way up there. Yeah, TR is available. If Spleebie gets those boots, he could actually like hover all of Hookshot Cave. I don't know what Jet's hovering status is, but I'm sure Jet is very happy to see those. That does give him access to the interior of Mire. It's a little uncomfortable for Jet not having Cane, but Spleebie will have Cane if he gets those boots. Now, this is not the boots for Spleebie. This is back up the mountain. It's not great. Maybe it's just Spike Cave, but it might also be Super Bunny Cave. He also might be looking at the Turtle Rock Medallion and seeing if he can do the entire dungeon. Actually, wouldn't be the worst play.
Yeah. Looks like Jet's actually going to go with the boots. We'll go into Mire here, I think. Caveat does not have the thing that we know that he's going to need to beat the dungeon, which is the King of Samaria. So presumably double dip, maybe. Not ideal for Meyer.
No.
It's just these late dungeons. You really don't want to have to go back in because they're so long.
Yeah, boots are such a monkey spot for Jet.
Oh, Spleebie. Oh no, you don't.
He's going to
Turtle Rock.
What's wrong with that? Turtle Rock's a crystal dungeon he can do. It's not even that faster with the boots. Like, you were spending most of the time on an auto-scroller. I think this is perfectly fine. The only thing that's a little bit worrying is the fact that he can't do any of Hookshot Cave. Jet is finding that Trinex is here, but as long as it's not Argus, they can do every boss.
Right. Hey,
they're in a bottle.
Yeah, I found another bottle.
Yeah, they have red mail now, but because they're still on, well, Spleebie's still on low equipment going into this. Jet won't be able to fight the boss in this dungeon, but it is nice to have a little bit of safety. Is Spleebie just not going in at all? Because this looks like a spike cave, Chet. Why is Spleebie not doing Turtle Rock?
Great question. Is Jet find Ether?
Yeah, irrelevant medallion.
Yep.
I don't understand why Spleebie isn't doing Turtle Rock. I think Turtle Rock is... Am I wrong? Turtle Rock is completely full clearable and guaranteed unless it's Argus?
Unless he's thinking because he's got Cane of Burna and half magic that this is easily doable. Now watch something here.
I know what he's thinking. He's thinking his medallion's out of logic. His boots aren't going to be in Turtle Rock. But he knows that he can get the boots first. But
good call.
I still think Turtle Rock isn't benefited that much by having boots. So, I don't know. I might have gone in. But I can't blame Spleebie for staying in logic. Maybe he will do... This is a weird place for him to be right now. It makes me worry that he's going into Swamp. But maybe he'll at least do the surrounding mirror checks and get boots before he goes into Swamp. And maybe that will lead him back on track. I expect Bombo's tablet. Oh, so he was thinking Bombo's tablet, and then he was thinking, wait, I can do one more thing here. So this is really good for him.
Yes, this is the decision. If you're cheering for Spleebie to win this one, this is what you were hoping to do, is not isolate this K45 Jack that's got the boots.
Yeah, it's interesting that Spleebie and Jet both arrived at this in different ways. With Jet doing this with Smith Chain, and Spleebie, I think, was maybe thinking eventually getting to Swamp, but wanted to do some things on the way first, in case it was just hookshot. And now he has to recalculate, because I don't think he really wants to do Swamp anymore. Because now he can do Meyer and TR, and they're in logic. He can also do Desert, which is what Jet is doing right now. He's going back to finish up some unfinished business in Desert. So I was just thinking ahead a little bit, but if you were Spleebie going back to Turtle Rock, and you were in hookshot go mode, but you also needed swords, would you hover hookshot cave?
If you can do it, maybe you do.
Especially if you know one of your swords is sword locked. He is pretty confident, but it's not free. It still takes time.
Yes, and you don't want to fail because it's a lot of hover to get to all the chests. It takes a lot of time.
The Jet continuing to not go to Waterfall Fairy, which is a little bit worrying because
It
it looks
is.
like Turtle Rock and Myra are probably the play. But Jet goes back to Pod, which is fine, I think.
Ooh,
Thing he can do.
Spleebie,
Oh.
the North check.
Oh yeah, the boots checks. Jet hasn't done those. He probably ends this with Skull Woods. Well, no, he does. You don't do Pendant Skull, right? I keep saying Skull Woods, forgetting it's a pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just. Well, the fact that he's doing this and not Bonk Rocks first does make me wonder if he actually does.
Yeah, because it would make more sense to get these two knocked out and then go back the other way, do Bonk Rocks, and then go into Skull Woods or whatever.
It would make sense if you didn't have 3 crystal dungeons you could do. Okay. That almost, yeah, he was setting up for Tomb Raider, but he has the bids. And actually, because he dropped down from that ledge, he actually is ending his route in the light world, which means he's not doing Skull Woods. He'll just be running over to Bonk Rocks. Kind of an interesting route. It saves a mirror transition over mirroring to Bonk Rocks on the way. Okay, that's a pretty useless compass because the only boss you care about is Argus. And you already know you need the hookshot for Swamp. The Dark Turtles for Jet. Jet does a kind of hybrid like NMG hammer strat, which would have worked really well if he had a stronger sword. Because he did spin some turtles out of the way. And they didn't die because he was on fighter sword. I really like that strat, which is just walk down and try and do the NMG strat using muscle memory. Because sometimes it works and it feels really satisfying. And when it doesn't work, it puts you between the torches. So you can just fire your fire rod to the left or right.
Yeah, that's a completely solid move. Because that room is probably... Oh. Hello, Vitreous. Goodbye, Vitreous. This will be not too difficult for Jet. But yeah, that dark room in particular is actually one of the scariest dark rooms in, I think, in the game. At least for me, it's always been really scary because you have all of the turtles that you have to kill, and they start in a certain position in the room, and they just go, and you're just like, all right, well, I hope I can find them all in the dark here.
Yeah, it's telling that we are in the main tournament bracket stage, and both runners decided not to do this, despite being technically possible. Because if they had decided to do this, they could have actually killed Viddy with the silver arrows, but I think both of them decided that it wasn't likely to succeed, and if it did, it was probably going to take forever.
Yeah, Jet's gonna go to the back here, maybe, and probably try and pick up this item that's hanging on Cold Stare.
I didn't realize this, but apparently the pod prize was our last info that we needed to find out that Eastern's a pendant. That's not stopping Jet, though. He's out for revenge. Revenge is best served Cold Stare.
Puns. Spleebie going up the correct set of stairs this time. It's okay. There's a lot of stairs you have to climb up and down here, so can be a bit to remember, especially because the switching crystals as well. Sometimes it's difficult to remember what's where. use bombos. Not a bad call when you got it. It's a lot easier, a lot less of a hassle. Gonna put him mostly in the corner.
I think Bombo saves time when you have Fire Rod.
Yeah.
But when you're on like Fighter Sword, obviously.
Yeah.
Temper and butter. You just I would even argue drink the potion, save time over trying to hammer this.
Yeah.
Even though it's safe, like he's not gonna die on Red Mail, but it's so slow.
It is, but he still got it.
He got it. Actually, you know, probably benefited from at least still getting to keep the potion, use it later.
Big 50 and a pendant.
It was maybe in the Dark Mire room where you had to throw the Samaria on the switch. He's having a little bit of trouble with it, but he had the door open. He was just having trouble finding the door. That's a fun way to call a bird. The funny thing about bird is they're immune to ground attacks, so that Quake didn't even register to the Fleet Duck. So Jet is going to get his King of Samaria now.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a not fun thing to find right now. Yeah, it's half magic. I think it's just going to be kind of like a King was here the whole time, and I couldn't get it because I didn't have Blue Pearl.
Yeah, the double dip Mire probably didn't feel great for him. But likewise, the fact that Spleebie went up the mountain and didn't do TR and then found Boots immediately after probably didn't feel great either. Both of them really just... It's actually hard to tell who's ahead in this race now that they're in progression parity, if not check parity, because I think Jet still hasn't done the escape. And they've done different crystal dungeons and one pendant. It's hard to tell when Trinex heads are stunned. But I guess they turn normal colored from not normal colored. So Jet will, I'm assuming, actually go into TR. He'll be the first one to see that. Meanwhile, Spleebie takes down Trinex. Well, there's a key there, which means Jet knows that he didn't leave anything behind. Jet will probably be doing Mire last.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough seed, given both of these runners are, if you look at the leaderboards for Link to the Past randomizer on racetime.gg, they're both in the top 25. So this is definitely not an easy seed.
Yeah, I think this has been, if nothing else, a routing challenge with how buried those mitts were behind some place you never wanted to go. Going straight into desert with nothing. And funny, you know, we still haven't seen the lamp. I think Turtle Rock lamp is very much alive.
I almost feel like it certainly is. That's where it is. It's somewhere in TR.
Yeah, Ice Palace is a strong candidate as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't deny the strongest candidate being the famous lover of lamps, Mothula.
It is somewhere that is inconvenient is pretty much all we know at this point.
Trinex at TR, so that actually kills Ice Trinex. We've seen 2 Trinexes. What haven't we seen? We have not seen Blind yet.
Haven't seen Mothula.
We haven't seen Armos.
Landmolas.
Yeah, we did see our Mothula is at Skullwoods. We didn't actually fight Mothula, but we do know it's there.
Ah, okay. Hey, there's another one we haven't seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of the Light World bosses, turns out. Moldorm. Bit of a softball in any room that isn't his own. Jet doing the old I don't have the hook shot route in this room.
Yep, you gotta take the longer way around.
First try, too.
Indeed.
Doesn't take the loop-de-loop of shame.
Is that what the technical term is for that? The loop-de-loop of shame. Like the whoop, they call it like the whoops loop. Hey, there's a sword.
Hey, sword. So that's, you know, both of them can get tempered. Is Jet gonna run out and get tempered and go back in? That's awesome.
You know what?
I respect it.
I like this.
I respect it. You earned it. You went this long without a sword.
Like I
hope Spleebie does this too.
I like this play because
they both deserve the sword, and they both deserve to not have to like lose time to their opponent for it.
Yeah, I just like this because it's easier Trinex fight. You know, you have to do Trinex. You know, there's a sword up here. It's a little bit out of the way to go get it, but it's just gonna make your QOL for your remaining fights so much easier. Just
it helps a little bit with the pokies too.
Yeah.
Let's do NFG strats. The Trinex isn't that bad with the half magic and hammer, but
it isn't. But
they're probably not going to save time getting the sword, but it's definitely going to make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Spleebie is taking the plunge into Swamp Palace. That's spicy.
Very spicy.
Assuming we also saw Bombo's tablet from him, I didn't actually catch what was on it.
I don't know what was on it, but I did see that Jet did not seem to be too thrilled with whatever was on it. Oh my goodness.
Well, I know I said that I hope Spleebie goes and gets the sword from Bombo's tablet. I don't think Spleebie's getting the sword from Bombo's tablet after TR. I think he's actually probably doing it first. He'll probably go up the mirror way and get the sword on the way to TR. And probably will not be hovering Hookshot Cave. I think that is dead. There's really no reason to at this point.
Spent all this time talking about, oh, it'll be great for Spleebie to go up there and get that second sword in TR and then go get that third one on Ether, and it's like, nope, we hid one. We hid one right there in Swamp Palace for you. Good on you.
The hookshot doesn't show up for Spleebie here. He is a little bit behind on Crystal progress. His pod is not a quick dungeon to clear, even if you already did most of it. Going to the boss is still quite the trek. But he does have Meyer, which is a similar situation. So the question really is, like, is Hookshot here, or is it just an Ice Palace? Because if it's just an Ice Palace, it's a bit of an equalizer, right? I think Jet's a little bit more likely to do that because he's already done one pendant dungeon.
Right, and Thieves Town's not really an option without that hookshot because, you know, got Argus thinking out there, so...
Yeah, that one's dead.
We know we're not going back there until we get that.
Thieves Town will just be a quick slam out and go mode dungeon. You pull your hookshot off the pedestal and then you just walk out and do Thieves.
Alright, we got Mimic Cave check here for Jet. We got... It's a heart.
At least Spleebie had the sense to go in here with boots. Alright. Which of the left side swamp chests is going to have the lamp in it?
None of the above. Hooray, we found the compass to Storage Town. Hooray. It's not as if we haven't poked our heads in there and seen it.
I'm surprised the runners are even checking maps. Unless you're like because if you're in Swamp, you already know you can't kill the boss without the hook shot, so Spleebie doesn't find the hook shot here, so that's a bunch of time down the drain. Probably not even that happy with the sword. We'll be even less happy to find out that it was just sitting in Turtle Rock the whole time. Going back into the Dark World, what is this? It's not Pyramid Fairy. He hadn't done the bombos yet.
Yeah, he hasn't.
I just assumed I wasn't paying attention.
No, Jet did.
Jet did it. Okay, so it's not the hook shot at least. No. Unless it is, and Jet just couldn't get it because he didn't have a sword. Jet will be able to do Pyramid Fairy. I wonder if that will influence him to go into Swamp as well. Swamp into Pyramid Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Spleebie going into TR, which, as far as we've seen, has just been a sword.
Yep. Unless there's something
the boss.
right here. Yep.
Whee. Yeah, Spleebie taking the mirror route to get his sword on the way to TR. He'll have Butter Sword in this seed. Jet probably won't. Well, if he goes into Swamp, he'll have it, but if he go mode Swamp, he will not.
Yep.
Butter Sword doesn't really matter when you already know Ice Trinix isn't possible.
Alright, what do we got on our Trinix fight? Hey!
Okay, so now we have to start bean counting. Because Spleebie has to do all of this. Jet has to do Mire.
Mm-hmm.
But Spleebie has to do Pod. So Spleebie is entire TR behind, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, so pretty much.
It's basically that Swamp trip. It's what cost him.
So he'll be able to go in and go right to the boss in Swamp. But
So will Jet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that Pod and Mire cancel each other out in terms of crystals, like how long it takes to do them. So it really is just this distance between Spleebie leaving Trinix and Jet leaving Trinix. Oh yeah, and the front of Escape, which it seemed like Spleebie had that for free, but Jet did have that time on Spleebie the whole time. It was just obfuscated by the fact that he hadn't picked up his cane and some other things. Running past the sword, which is perfectly fine. He doesn't need it. They've already demonstrated that they don't need any swords to succeed.
I really can't blame either runner for having a difficult time kind of parsing this seed. It was not the most, shall we say, obvious from the get-go, other than maybe like the early hints to go to the Dark World and go check Hype Cave. There's stuff there, and then go up to the top of the mountain.
Spleebie's commitment to logic on the top of the mountain seems to have cost him, though, because I think that was the reason he didn't return to TR as soon as he could. He had already bailed on it at a time when he could have cleared it.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been one thing if he went up there without the ability to open TR, like if he didn't have his sword. But because he made a decision not to do it, he had to stick with that decision, and that's why he went into Swamp.
And nicely done there from Jet.
Man, Turtle Rock is slow.
It's not a fun dungeon to go. There's a reason why it's at the end.
Yeah, where is that lamp? We were both wrong. It's ice or moth.
Probably moth. Just
Yeah,
because...
this isn't one of those seeds where it can be on GT, so it has to be somewhere. Could be Pyramid Fairy, maybe? No, not with TR.
Moth feels like a... I was going to say moth feels like a safe bet, given logic and everything. It was certainly a pretty easily accessible with that pyramid sword for a while, so it wouldn't have shocked me if it was hiding on moth and Skullwoods the whole time. Yeah, so here's the problem for Spleebie. This is going to be personal number 4. Jet's in Meyer in go mode and is about to pick up number 6.
Yeah,
it just has to go to the back of Thieves Town.
This is quite the gulf.
Yeah.
It feels like more than just swamp, but I know that Spleebie did the escape, but Jet also went back into Eastern to do that. But it's hard to tell where the time came from because once they got out of that bottleneck, they did everything out of order. Like they were all doing completely different stuff. That's an interesting way to hit Trinex. Probably a consequence of Trinex moving at a different speed in Enemizer.
Mm-hmm.
His heads activate differently. And Jet also in Trinex, but a different one. So maybe he had to work a little harder for this fight because he didn't have a sword. A good sword.
And there is Spleebie's hook shot.
And this will be one of the most straightforward dungeons for Jet. Just run to this portal, run down, and run to the back.
Pretty much.
You know, Jet also did not do the boots checks in the north. So there's a little bit here and there.
Yeah, there was just maybe some extra checks that Spleebie did. Not necessarily bad checks at all. You have an item
it's really... Swamp is the big one, but there are little ones here and there that didn't work in his favor.
I think that's the seed just kind of being rude like that, as far as where it puts certain items in logic. Like that hook shot could have been in so many places, as your last item. There's a lot of open spots where it could have been that were just like these one-off locations. And the thing about randos, you pick the wrong one to skip, and you can find yourself 5, 10, 20 minutes behind just by unfortunate luck. And Jet taking care of Argus there, super quick with those silvers. It's a heart for his troubles. And we are going to GT.
So normally in GT and Boss Shuffle, you do a certain route. I think it's Rando Rush. That last location's the ice boss. I don't know if they're going to hard commit to that, given that they know it's not Trinex. It's probably blind or Lammo at this point. In fact, it's very likely to be blind because Lammo won't be at the top.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
Or I should say it's likely to be Lammo, not likely to be blind. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. Both of them can't be at the top, so it can be either.
So,
I think that means that there's a repeat boss at the top.
I would guess so. So which ones haven't we seen? We haven't seen Armos Knights at all.
Armos was in Swamp.
Oh, in Swamp.
Yeah, and Armos won't be at the top either. It's one of those bosses that doesn't play nice.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be like a duplicate Moth or a duplicate Moldorm.
I would guess probably just that's the second Moldorm was probably up there. It's vanilla spot.
It's not going to be exciting. Helmosaur can be exciting because of the tendency to drop you like a Moldorm. But they're both very well equipped and very skilled, so I don't expect to see execution challenges more than any normal seed would give you.
Yeah, it's not really an issue, I think, here for either runner.
Yeah. In other words, what I'm saying is it's not going to be like 5 failed Ice Trinexes making the race even again. It's pretty hard for Spleebie to get back in this, coming back from having to do Swamp and having to do Thieves while Jet is running Riot in the Hope Room, finding the big key immediately. Jet does need to get a small key. Good. Like to see that. I think even Jet climbing GT and having to mirror out probably wouldn't have been enough. And welcome to our raiders from SpeedGaming. As we come across the end of this race, you see there's a bit of a disparity between the runners. There were a few things that contribute to that, but most of it was just a difference in late game routing. With Spleebie opting not to do Turtle Rock when he was at the top of the mountain because it was out of logic, and the hook shot was there, so he spent some time in Swamp Palace and in Overworld that Jet did not spend. Oh, that lag. People make fun of runners for swapping off of the silver arrows, but it makes a difference. Oh, I love to see a G5 arrow from Jet. One of my favorite strats. A little bit cursed. And here's our second Helmosaur. Speaking of lag, this is one of the laggiest fights in the game.
Hello, Helmosaur friend. It's good to have you here. And yeah, Jet's just kind of making this whole thing look as easy as it does when you at least experience a runner as him.
Yeah, there is something nice about being able to just turn your brain off and execute after a seed like that, where you had to think very hard about the routing.
Yes.
And then you slam into some weird boss up here, and you remember you're playing rando again.
Yep.
It's probably going to be cold. Oh, yeah, it's cold.
Oh,
stare. Okay.
Cold Stare. Okay. Hi.
I don't know why I said that, but it was cold stare. We actually never saw land though. It must be in Ice Palace. I think that's the only.
Yeah.
It could have been the. I think we didn't see, of course, the Ice Armos fight either.
Yeah. They're all those are both options. So all we know is Lamola is somewhere we were not going today.
We did see duplicate bosses, so yeah, one of them's blind and one of them's Lamo. Sir not appearing in this film. Alright, Spleebie, the whole mountain climb and GT climb behind. It's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for him to take this one, but this is only game 1. So tune in for more of these races at twitch.tv/speedgaming, insert number here. If you do !ALTTPR, you can get access to the challenge and the schedule, so you can follow these runners as they progress through the bracket of 64. This is the Link to Pass Randomizer main tournament. We run it every year.
It's a good time by all. There's no cap on like you have to have X amount of hours in rando to participate. There are qualifiers for it, so you will have to kind of compete to get in, but they're open to everybody. So if you've ever been really interested, you enjoy rando, and you want to test yourself, it's definitely a good place to try and do it.
I think one of the things that makes this the main tournament is the fact that all people of all skill levels are throwing their hat in.
Yep. And there've been some big surprises. There's definitely been instances here as Jet is on phase 3 already, making this Ganon fight go super quick. Definitely been instances of people who have had like the kind of their big moment just in these tournaments where it's like, oh, you're a relatively new runner and you are in the quarterfinals already. Okay. Phase 4, taking care of the hardest part.
Yeah, killing Ganon with the first weapon we found in the game.
Yep.
Just
There we go. Gets the
nice double at the very end.
Get those GGs in chat. Ready here for Jet, who just has to go across this bridge and will be up 1-0 in this series. And here we go. And it will be an official race time.gg time for Jet of 1:38.41. Spleebie's going to keep going, probably, it looks like. Have not seen a GG message, have not seen a forfeit, so Spleebie's going to probably, my guess is probably going to run this out just to get on the board here. And definitely want to cheer Spleebie on as well, so let's not just immediately turn off our cheering them on brains quite yet.
Yeah, and you know, there's another way to cheer on these runners, which is by following them.
Oh, yes.
Follow these runners, because you get to cheer them on playing other randos as well.
And sometimes they play other games besides randomizer.
Yeah, sometimes they stop
sometimes-
streaming for 4 weeks at a time while Tears of the Kingdom is out, but
Yeah.
you know, we don't love them any less for that.
No, sometimes
Spleebie
sometimes
also
they do. Oh, go ahead.
He also goes for the G5 arrow, but he gets the bad
Oh,
RNG for it. I
yeah.
appreciate that both runners went for it.
Yeah, sometimes they do podcast stuff. It depends. It depends on it depends on the day.
Yeah. Good stuff from Spleebie showing us again why we hate seeing Helposaur in this room, because it's so freaking laggy.
Yeah, it's just all those fireballs, really. Well, the room is laggy already because of the fireballs, but then Helmosaur is just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to throw more animations in there, even more than probably is great for a game of this time when it originally came out.
I am being personally called out by Spleebie in his Discord for saying Tears of the Kingdom has been out for 6 weeks.
It just feels like it sometimes.
Time just flows differently in that game, you know? Alright, Spleebie coming up on the Torches Rooms of GT. Again, it's that sort of turn off your brain and execute phase.
Collection rate for Jet is a 138. So that'll actually be kind of interesting here. I wonder if we'll get to see what Spleebie's collection rate is, because I'm kind of curious how many extra checks there were. And that'll probably give us a little bit of an idea, too, of how much extra time that might have been.
Yeah, I expect it to be a lot, because
Yeah, I think it's
all
good.
clearing Swamp, at least the front, is a lot of checks. And
Yeah.
the bunch of Overworld and the Escape, like that adds up.
I would say it's probably at least another 10 to 12 right there. So probably looking around 150, maybe 154. And yeah, it's one of those things. All of those little checks really add up over time, and usually that's the thing that kind of determines a lot of these races. Is it's not someone making a bad play, like falling at Ganon or something like that. It's the number of checks you end up doing, and sometimes you get these locations that are way far out of the way that you check, and you just can't.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think what happens in a lot of these races is it's not so much that a runner like makes a single gamble or a single skip. It's more that they diverge in some early way that has butterfly effect on the way they route, and everything they do makes sense in their internal world.
It even makes sense to us, It's only after the fact usually that we look at something and be like, oh, you could have done that and that. This one was more efficient, but you're doing this stuff on the fly. You're reading it as you're going along. It's like sight reading music, but you don't know what instrument you're going to play. Other than it's like you have an idea of, okay, I'm playing an instrument, and then someone comes in and hands you a flute, and you're like, I was going to play guitar.
That's a really good way to put it.
So yeah, you kind of have to have the expertise to be ready for anything, and then be able to execute on that. He's already on. It looks like phase 3 here, so he's gonna get the whoops.
Yeah, and Jet has joined us, but we'll let Spleebie finish this one so we can get both of them in at the same time.
Yeah.
Spleebie is very nearly done with this.
There we go.
Cheeky little sloshes Spleebie gets in. They do count. If you got 3 of those in, that would have counted as a silver arrow hit.
All right, so yeah, get those GGs in chat for Spleebie. As a official race time, that GG time of a 1:44.51.
And we are joined by Spleebie as well. So GG's Jet for winning this one, and GG's Spleebie for finishing.
Hey, GG.
Yeah, that was a fun seed. I guess that's a good way to put it.
Hopefully fun to watch.
Fun
It didn't feel fun playing
I
it.
was gonna say maybe less fun for you to actually navigate through. That was yeah, there were some tricky item locations there.
Yeah, I'm actually currently checking ice to see if I can find a lamp because I'm curious where it is.
We were discussing that. We thought it might be on Moth.
Both of us put bets on the camp and we're wrong.
Yeah, because we kind of thought it would have to be somewhere that was early
I think
accessible.
It could be ice too.
Hey, terrarium sleeps
so it's
again.
Not, yeah, it could it have been Ped? Where was the Eastern Big Key? That would have been interesting. It wasn't, but
that would have been mean.
It would have been funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, late. My sword was pretty late. I don't know about my opponent, but
you were
seeing
first.
it on Pyramid Ledge.
You were the first by far. So Spleebie just went straight to pod using the flute and didn't go back to Pyramid Ledge for a very long time. But it didn't seem to harm him that much. But what did harm him was he went up to Turtle Rock before the boots. And am I correct, Spleebie, that you chose not to go in because it was out of logic?
Yeah, sorry, I figured out I was muted.
Good.
Yes. Sorry, I'm also looking for the lamp in Ice Palace.
You guys should split up.
It's okay. I ran out of magic before Freezors, so I'll let Jet figure it out. But yes, due to not having boots to put TR in logic, I left.
So what did you do to make it out of logic? I'm actually curious. Is it because of Bombos?
Yeah, Bombos in desert behind the smoky.
Yeah, both of you did that key steal play at the same time as you were bottling into the mitts. And it was kind of cool to see that. Spleebie didn't actually have a sword yet, so he couldn't go into Mire, but he did have the cane much earlier than you did.
Yep.
Yeah, going up to Zora without the flippers it was a little worrying to us because we knew later on that the cane was there and that you had orphaned Waterfall.
So good news, the lamp was in the freezer room of ice.
Oh, just in time to run out of magic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Found it. That is some goofy logic. So the seed really wanted you to go pretty far into ice to be able to beat the game. I can't remember if there was anything in Pendant Eastern.
The ice rod was there.
Okay, that good point. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely needed that one.
Kind of early. I think you were definitely the first in Jet by far because Spleebie got his Moon Pearl before anything else. He went Uncle Start. So we didn't have nearly as much incentive to go searching in there.
It's always nice in boss Enemizer to get the ice rod out of the way because that's the big one, so you don't have to worry about Trinex so much.
That and the hook shot for the Argus is.
Oh my gosh, hook shot!
The hook shot was your go mode too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because you said you were thinking about diving swamp after TR.
Yeah, my early game was pretty rough. It felt slow to me. It's sort of what you were saying in chat, how you were supposed to do overall stuff, and I just wanted to do dungeons, and I kept getting punished for like going into dungeons early. But then like at some point, like I think it was shortly after Boots, I'm just like, just go, just do all these dungeons you can finally do. Turtle Rock seems pretty good. Let's just go do that. It's a pretty dense location, and there's the hook shot and swords.
Yeah, I think it was Boots. You had to do just Overworld until Boots, and then just dungeons. I just got punished on both sides of that.
Well, here's hoping our next seed is Boots start, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, did I ruin it? Oh no.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to find Boots and Link's house in the Ambrosia that you roll.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's gonna be in Roja.
Yep. I have not done Ambrosia yet this seed or this tournament.
Well, I wonder if the tournament deck command knows about this finish already. Oh, it looks like it does because it has tournament McBoss at 0. So it's equal. Tournament hard, standard Boots, or Ambrosia are all at 3. Fad Keys GT is 1. So who knows? We'll probably get Fad Keys because it's only 1.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Sounds about right.
That's just the way that rando rolls sometimes. It's just like, what's the least convenient way for me to do this? Oh yeah, we'll do that. But yeah, that was quite the seed to route. I think you both did very. It was like there was a lot of different ways it could have gone, so I think you both did pretty well, all things considered. There were a lot of places that go mode item could have been to, because it was being hookshot. It's like there's like half a dozen places you could check, and it's never easy to kind of figure that out when it's just a single item like that that's widely available. And there's dungeons to dive, and there's one-off locations to check that you have to worry about isolating. It's never fun. It's never fun to try and find that last item sometimes.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself while I was doing Turtle Rock, like, what am I going to check next? Like, I could do the front half of Swamp, because that's pretty much the worst location for hookshot to be at. Or do I gamble Ice? So I was like, it's sort of a coin flip, so I don't know. I think I would have chosen Swamp, but it was tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I picked Swamp because like you said, it was the worst place it could be. And I was feeling pretty behind after the slow start, and I felt like I was late to getting Boots. So yeah, dipped Swamp without hookshot just for that, and then did Turtle Rock.
Yep. Go in the desert. Oh, I need Boots. Oh, look, a Bombos. Oh, there's Boots. Now you can go back. It was just the whole seed was like, here's the item I need after I need it.
And like going to Eastern boss, and then I found the compass like right after. I think that happened,
right? Exactly.
That happened somewhere else too.
I'm like, it would have been nice to have this before I trudged my way to the boss.
I think it was Hera. After beating Hera, I found the compass. It's like, well, that would have been nice. Anyway, thanks everyone for commentary, tracking. Thanks, SpeedGaming.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And of course, thanks you guys for putting this on for us. I mean, like, we're just not having you guys race. It's just, Mama and I and everyone else is kind of hanging out here for an hour and a half, shooting the breeze about anything and everything with nothing to focus on. But you guys gave us a heck of a race to watch. It was very fun, and y'all are both really talented runners, and we're looking forward to game 2. Jet maybe not looking forward to game 3 next week, but we'll see on that. Spleebie's gonna be hoping for that. So just to give everyone a real quick rundown, your game 2 is next week, next Wednesday, in fact, at same time as tonight, 10:10 Eastern. And then game 3, if necessary, will be on Thursday, the night after that, also at 10:10. So, yeah, looks like y'all will have a little bit of a break for the weekend, and then get to come on back and get right back to it.
Yeah, time to finish Tears of the Kingdom, hopefully.
I was gonna say that gives me time to play Tears of the Kingdom.
There you go. Everyone's gonna do that.
We kind of scheduled the matches with that in mind.
That's that's good. That's good that you guys both are like, yay, I want to play some Tears of the Kingdom. Me too. All right, let's schedule our matches around that. Yeah, thanks so much. Make sure to give our runners a follow here, as always. Here's their channels there. Not surprisingly, their channels are twitch.tv/Spleebie and Jet082, just as you see there on their on the screen. Of course, they both have been in chat as well, so you can also just click on their name and follow them from there. But I do want to say as well, real quick, thanks very much to Darkened Sky for doing all the tracking fun for us tonight. Can't do this without our trackers. They're essential part of any randomizer race that we restream here. And of course, Mama, thank you so much for the co-coms. It's great working with you.
It was a pleasure. Good night, everybody.
Absolutely. Just real quick, we do have a lot of matches coming up tomorrow. They're going to be rebroadcasts. Come back here, 10 p.m. Eastern. Adraxis versus Brogor. There's a couple races on ALTTPR randomizer, SpeedGaming 2. So just as a safety thing, make sure you follow SpeedGaming 2 through 6, ALTTP randomizer. Follow all of those channels. That way you'll get all the wonderful notifications when we go live with tournament matches. And remember, someone out there loves you and we love you too. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more main tournament bracket action.